My name is Julia Cheng. I'm a dance artist. I work in choreography and movement. I'm born in the UK. My parents are from Hong Kong. I'm first generation British born Chinese, I guess. I've lived in UK my whole life.
Hi, my name's Andy Leung. I'm a musician, a composer and a music producer. I come from a family of a Hong Kong immigrant and I've been living in the UK for 20 years.
My name is Chris Chan and I am an actor and musician. I have been born and raised here in the UK. During the day, I am a professional musician. I teach kids piano, I teach adults music theory, and also design websites. But during the night, I also have a different occupation and become a comedian.
Donald Trump is tough, I warn. He looks like cats and dogs reborn, or like this troll, or like this corn. But actually, to me, he is a donkey ass.
I don't feel more British or more Chinese. I just think there's a British part of me and there's a Chinese part of me. If someone asks me, like, where you're from, I say I'm born here, or I'm Chinese. I say I'm Chinese. And also my parents would always say, like, my dad especially would be like, you know, you're a Chinese person, you're Chinese. You know, like, we're Chinese people, you know, like, so, and he was very proud of that. 佢哋有，但係佢哋想，唔係買咗啊！但係佢哋想錄下我哋一齊啫。唉，好差。咁夠熱啊？呢個好似熱啲喎，好似好大，好似好多咁喎。夠唔夠熱啊？我話上次唔夠熱啊，佢。婆婆。你嚟英國，你係咪開心嚟咗英國啊？唔開心。It's not about whether you're happy or not. It's like
走慣喎。
you have to survive. You just got to go.
因為阿公嚟咗，我搞埋啲仔女一齊嚟咗，
係啊，
因為唔開心啊。
Your granddad came, and then you got all the kids over.
初嚟就唔開心喎，一日兩個來。
At first,
啲細路哥出去嚇，
係啊，
啱唔開心啊。
So she said, my granddad, your granddad comes with it and gets the kids all over and we all come over. And it's not about being happy or not happy. And she's like, at first, when we first came over, we weren't happy. Obviously, you live in a completely different country, but when everyone's all together, you're happy. They had to go, they had no choice. Like, they were farmers. All the stock died. And then, like, they couldn't make money and they had to make sure they could feed all the kids. They couldn't speak English, so all they could pass on was their culinary culture, their food, Chinese food. So my granddad had to learn how to cook food because he wasn't doing that before. Before he was rearing animals and selling fish.
I only spoke Cantonese until I was age 7. And so when I went to school, I was surprised that everyone else was speaking a totally different language and I didn't understand them. And I think it was that embarrassment of not being able to learn that language is that I had to work very, very hard to catch up with my English peers. And now a lot of people say I'm very posh for even an English person and will say, you're very posh. And that's because I made extra effort as a child to be very English, almost to fight against that.
Do I feel more British or more Chinese? Both. The more I grew up, the more I realised that is just a label. For me, it's really just about living who you are. There are things that you can change and there are things that you can't change. Being British Chinese are things that I can't change, so I might as well embrace it.
I'd like to see it as taking the best from both worlds. My British upbringing and being grown up here, and then Chinese is like the kind of Chinese culture of my parents, my family, my lineage. One of my earliest memories, learning martial arts with my dad in the sitting room, me and my sister, and he would teach us this form, foot, punch, 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 hit. A lot of the movement in terms of arm motion is from martial arts. And so that was kind of me exploring the origins of one of the influences and inspirations within that dance style. And so that's why I wanted to learn some wushu and apply it and see how that informed my movement. Another side of it is warrior, the myth of Mulan, and I was looking at that and also looking at her relationship with her father and, you know, being a fighter and what it is to be a modern day woman of today.
I grew up on British humour, so a lot of my jokes will be geared towards a British audience because that is what I grew up on, more so than Chinese humour. Whatever this is. Move. Flips there. Go straight on. Bow one last time.
In China, the main type of comedy is crosstalk, where you have two comedians talking to one another. And crosstalk involves 4 facets. It involves speaking, imitation, music, and singing. So that's Chinese comedy there in a nutshell. British comedy comes from sort of American stand-up, which is observational humour, but it's also based on irony and sarcasm. And I guess with this show, because I have a English sensibility in terms of an English sense of humour, but I look Chinese, I think hopefully I can show to an English audience at least that the Chinese do have a sense of humour and use some of the Chinese tradition, crosstalk, to be able to demonstrate that to an English audience.
Take the word higher, a friendly hello. Sing the first bit high and stress it, then you'll be known. Higher! As slightly camp, and that is fine. Like David Williams, Alan Carr, but never stretch the second part or stretch it too far. Cause if you accidentally do, you've messed up, you see. Cause now it sounds higher! And you've made it Bruce Lee, and you've just insulted some poor Asians in the near vicinity, and now you realise what you've done. You try to hide it awkwardly, apologising for the slip which wasn't done intentionally. Now you've got a load of Asians shouting at you angrily. You are a racist. Whoa, there's no need to spit. You totally misunderstand, I didn't mean it.
Through the show, I managed to teach English people or British people some, Chinese values.
As for dating in England, well, we tend to ask very generic questions on the first date. Things like, what's your favourite pizza topping? Or, if you're dating in 2017, how much cardio do you do a week? Whereas in China, it's so much simpler. 2 questions to ask on the first date. Number 1, how much you earn? Which karaoke bar shall we head to?
Huge cross-section in both Britain and China, and I think we get the biggest thing I've learned is actually stereotypes don't really exist. I mean, they do exist, of course they do, but the image of a Chinese person and the image of an English person, they're pretty much the same.